Hello everybody and welcome to a new Stellaris video. This is going to be showcasing one of the most old school builds in the entire game, but with using new civics, and what is still one of the strongest builds in the game. This is going to be Clone Armies with Parliamentary System and Genesis Guides. Now, Clone Army is one of the most old school best builds in the game. It's always been around, but with the Machine Age DLC, it is no longer the best build in the game. Things like synthetic fertility and a virtual ascension rush kind of have overtaken clone armies as the best build. But this is still a very viable build, and while it's year 30, year 50, and year 70 strength are all, say, S tier, but not double S, so not the best in the game, there's definitely a lot of options for how you can play this. Now, what I'm going to be showing you guys today is Genesis Guides and Parliamentary System, as I mentioned earlier, which is going to be one of the versions of this build which aims to scale while being a little bit weaker in the early game if that's not really your playstyle. There's probably other build guides out there that show more alloy focused builds, but we're going to be focused on maxing out our technology and our unity early on to get the maximum scaling to get into the late game as fast as possible. Usually when we play a build like this, we aim to try to get into Cumulonimbus before year 55. Another main goal is to try to get what's the mega engineering by about year 65, and this kind of really lets us scale extremely hard into the late game, which is still one of my favorite ways to play the game. So yeah, anyways, what we're going to do at the very beginning is we're going to go on Isolationist and Civilian Economy. This is a very common start for biological empires, as we need the extra unity from Isolationist, and we need the extra consumer goods to maintain our very, very expensive living standard of utopian abundance. This will basically allow us to unemploy pops to generate technology and unity, which is something that is not normally possible. Right? And this will basically, along with our egalitarian living standard, will really, really boost, our early game technology, our early game unity production. It'll also save us consumer goods by not employing those temple workers, which is something we would normally need to do in order to produce a good amount of unity. And of course, we're also going to turn planetary automation on, but only for crime, as we want the game to automatically manage whether or not we employ this enforcer or not. So this is a very standard start to the game. The next thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to send out some scouts to determine where are the best places we need to start expanding towards. Now, before I do that, I also want to immediately start building additional mineral deposits, as minerals are going to be one of the main early game struggles of this build, minerals and basic economy. So what we're going to do is we're going to simply put a buy order of 30 minerals on. I know this is going to cause our energy credits to appear negative, but if we ever can't afford these minerals, the buy won't go through and our energy credits won't go into the negative, so you don't have to worry about getting into a critical resource shortage by purchasing additional minerals. So it's just a general good idea to kind of max out your mineral buy early on. Now, the next thing we're going to need to do is let's take a look at our leaders for a second. This build has two goals. One of them is to rush Arc Furnace, and the other one is to get as many charismatic leaders as possible so that we can run as many resource boosting edicts as possible. Now, in order to maximize our odds of getting Arc Furnace, we need a Spark of Genius leader, which we have here, which is brilliant. So we need to plan to want to buy that, and we have a charismatic leader here, which is perfect, as these two things together have accomplished all our goals. Now, the chance that you get both these things on your first leader roll is probably less than 50%. Almost certainly less than 50%. If I were to guess, it'd probably be about 20 to 30% of games where you'd have this. And the rest of them, you're going to have to keep paying attention. Every 5 years, your leaders refresh. So you can go ahead and take a look at if there are any leaders, right, which satisfy those two things that I mentioned earlier. Charismatic and Spark of Genius. Another important thing is early game unity. You don't want to spend it on leaders quite yet. I mean, we only have one scout right now, one military ship scout, because our other two scouts don't have leaders in them. right? But that's because we want to make sure before anything we do, we get standard construction templates. And once we have standard construction templates, we can go ahead and kind of spend our Unity on leaders and whatever we want, because it's just super, super important to get construction templates as early as possible to reduce our mineral costs for buildings by 10%. Yeah, just a generally extremely, extremely important thing to do. I'm also going to put my mineral buy to 32. That allowed me to just perfectly afford this ancient clone vat. As you can see, I have 0 minerals here. And there we go. So yeah, make sure you build your first ancient clone vat with standard construction templates already active, reducing the cost by 60 minerals, which is pretty considerable in the early game. Now, this is a great spawn. As you can see, we have 3 planets. Let me just go ahead and check if any of these have pre-FTLs, and they do not, which is okay. And what is this? This is probably the Shroud Beacon, which is extremely lucky, which also means we're almost certainly going to go Psionic this game. Which is awesome. I do prefer Psionic as it's slightly stronger early game in exchange for being quite a bit weaker in the early game, in the late game, I mean. However, since we're playing single player, we can kind of alleviate that late game weakness simply by, taking over AIs and taking their population. As well, their population can be extremely, extremely helpful. For us to just expand our production, our population count, which is the main struggle for psionic empires, is they don't have a way to naturally boost their population. Now, that's also the reason why synthetic ascension is so strong now, and sometimes you do want to go for synthetic ascension. Now, this is really annoying. However, it did spawn right next to my starting platform here, so it's going to die out immediately. If it didn't, what you can do when you get this starting event, which is just really annoying for bioempires, let me pause so I can explain this, is your starting ships actually have a, what's it called? A fleet stance. Here it is. See, so right now it says evasive. If you set it to passive, they'll ignore enemies and fly straight past danger, although they might accidentally be killed, but usually they can escape on time. And it's just a way you can get your construction ships out and that kind of thing in a pinch when you get that event and your military ships have already flown out to Narnia and you can't access them anymore. Anyways, now that we have bought those 2 leaders also, that first tree we're actually going to finish is adaptability. This is quite different from most builds which do prosperity first, but there's a very good reason for this, and that is our main form of defense for year 30 and year 35 and that kind of thing, probably for the first 40 years of the game, is we're going to have no military at all. Instead, if there's any hostile enemies, we're going to build a starbase in order to dissuade attackers. Now, also, you might have noticed I've collected 400 alloys and haven't collected any much consumer goods yet, and that's because Genesis Guides makes our colony ship very expensive. Now, costing 400 alloys instead of 200 alloys doesn't seem like a big deal. It does slow us down a lot, but the 3 free pops it gives us is going to be much, much more important than the upkeep cost of having, a few additional cost for our initial colony ship. So, anyhow, as soon as we can, we are going to purchase this colony ship, and that should definitely be nice. And we're also going to want to make sure that by the time that this colony ship is done, we have already built this starbase, so we're going to need to, get to 100 alloys before that day too. Yeah, the early game of this build is definitely really, really strict in the sense that there's not a lot of spare timings. You know what I mean? Like everything has to be done exactly when it needs to be done. Otherwise, it can be a bit of a struggle. We will sell food also, as you can see, our starting homeworld is very small. Size 18 homeworld, and there's a specific reason for this, and that's because we have taken the soul start. Now, why is soul start important? Especially since it gives you a size 18 homeworld, which is definitely a really bad thing. And the reason for that is it gives us a guaranteed system which has 20 arc furnace deposits. Now, that might mean nothing to you right now, but once we start building the arc furnace and we see the benefits of having such a good system for an arc furnace, it'll become really clear why it is so important to start with a good system for a guaranteed arc furnace, as arc furnaces have really changed the objectives of this game, as their production is so incredible for early game alloys and that kind of thing, and especially minerals. Previously, minerals have been just like kind of the most hard to come by resource in the entire game, but ever since arc furnaces have come out, ooh, this is a tough one. Is Charisma or Spark of Genius? I may take double Spark of Genius and upgrade that Charisma trait as soon as I have a chance, as that is a really like healthy boost to research speed for free here. And this is a pretty good spawn already. We have 6 planets nearby. I would definitely say that's above average. So I'm pretty happy to see that. This adaptive ecology will also give us an additional building slot. Now, let's pause for a second. What have we done so far? Is our first expansion, right? We got a free pop from clearing that blocker, and now we're going to build an industrial district right away. As you can see, our industrial output of consumer goods and alloys is not really quite good enough. So this is a perfect situation where we need to kind of boost this up a little bit. And our mineral production is not great. It will struggle to keep up with this for sure. But, well, we have no choice, right? We just have to persevere. Alright, anyhow, as you can see, our first technologies are also going well. These are all really lucky starting technologies, I would say, as they're all quite good. Like all 3 of these are very helpful. It's very important to get hydroponics farming bays. And I'll kind of show you guys the power of these hydroponics farming bays as soon as I can. And let's start moving this colony ship over so that it's ready to colonize that planet as soon as the starbase is done. I don't know how long it's been there. I haven't been paying too much attention. Also, this is just my second game of the new DLC. So I have no idea really what the DLC does, if I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. So I'm going to be like kind of just as surprised by like certain DLC events and like what the space storms actually do as you might be. So I'm kind of excited to see how that works. Also, as soon as this is done, we can go back and send. And we found Wankwort. Oh, that is so amazing. Yeah, this will really get us to an insane amount of research, as Wankwort has really good research bonuses. I think it's like 30%. Yeah, and with 30% bonuses to, you know, like research production, we can basically stack our research onto that planet and get some really crazy output for like year 50 or 60. So yeah, I'm definitely going to try to take that. Now, as you can see, we're struggling to colonize everything, thanks to our really expensive colony ships and our really high pop upkeep of consumer goods, right? But all we have to do is kind of just like juggle between empire capital and factory capital to balance our consumer goods and alloys to make sure we can get those 2 colony ships up as fast as we can. Also, I will say that we really low rolled space in our first 2 guaranteed systems. The deposits are only 2 energy credits, right? That is really poor. Sometimes if you get something like a 9 minerals deposit or something like that, it really actually changes the way you can play the game, as those additional minerals are extremely powerful. We are lucky in the sense, though, that Alpha Centauri Prime has 6 open mineral deposits, which is quite rare for ocean planets, right? So you win some, you lose some, in that sense, where, well, we did not get very lucky on our space minerals, but at least our planetary minerals are pretty good. And Clone Army does not lack pops to actually exploit those resources on planets. So, yeah, this is definitely a decently lucky game. I'm pretty happy to see that. Yeah, our leaders are looking good here as well. Sometimes if you get like a level 3 scientist, it's really worth it to just purchase them, as that will really boost your early game, like things like agenda speed and research speed potentially, and that kind of thing. So. And yeah, so we have a level 2 official class, but I'm not sure if I want to expand the extra. Oh my god, we lost one of our guys already. Oh no, at least they survived. Okay. Yeah, and as what I was saying, I don't think it's worth the unity cost of the extra official compared to a tier 1 one with righteous, which is a pretty good trait, as it blocks us from needing an extra pop for anti-crime for quite a long time. So that's actually quite good. Okay, we do need to delete another one of these. Now, I don't want to sell too much food, as I do want the biggest stockpile of food I can get for late game. Or not for late game, for kind of a really annoying period of time, which is for this build, we need to basically survive with just these 3 starting food districts, which is pretty good, and from food from space all the way. And I think I might just blow 50 alloys on this. I know I need to store up 400 for my second colony ship, but having this extra food production early game will hold us out a lot longer, as we don't want to build any food jobs, and we want to actually start to get rid of food jobs quite early onto this build. So yeah, anyhow, let's also just keep the city districts building. We need to build as much tech as possible. The early game tech of this build, I would say, is mid, in the sense that we probably hit around 200 year 10, maybe 450 year 20, and like onwards to 700, 800 by year 30. But because the early game tech of like 200 is quite a bit weaker than a lot of builds, which can hit 3 to 400 in the first 10 years, we definitely do have to make that up in the next 10 years, which is a bit annoying. But in exchange, we get so many pops, we can produce a lot of other stuff, right? So, ooh, and this is really cool. Again, plus 10% food from jobs, which is actually a pretty valuable stat, or we can get upkeep. I think we'll go with architectural interest, though. I think in the long run, it's going to be more valuable. Also, as you can see, we're getting slightly low on consumer goods. Going to try not to worry about that too much. Also, as you notice, we haven't surveyed these nearby planets yet, and that's because we need these alloys to build our second colony ship before we can do anything. Typically, if you start building this next colony ship before year 6, it's a okay timing. So that's kind of going to be our main goal. Now, we might just get it just after year 6, though, which is a bit unfortunate. But, hey, it's not too bad, as once those colonies get going, of course, the pops grow extremely quickly thanks to clone armies. So yeah, it's kind of expected that as long as you get your second colony like finished colonizing by like year 10, it's usually okay. Which is quite late for most builds, right? Because most builds you'd probably want that to be done by like year 5. But for this build, it's definitely going to be a lot later. Maybe it could be even a better idea to like scrap like early game tech more in order to try to get those colonies up sooner. But I have not tried kind of doing that kind of build order yet. I do still prioritize the technology extremely hard, especially with the importance of arc furnace. Rolling an early game arc furnace, like say like year 15, really changes the outlook of the game, as you can start ignoring mineral jobs and that kind of thing, and just focusing on like getting those arc furnaces up, which is just super incredible. Also, as you can see, our first colony is kind of getting close to completion. And that will unlock kind of our first kind of cool thing we can do with this build, or unique thing, right? Which is the fact we do indeed still have Genesis guides, right? And with Genesis guides, we can, of course, start uplifting pops, which grants us unity, and of course relieves these 2 blockers, right? This Genesis preserve blocking 2 spots on our homeworld is a really big restriction for this build, right? So really important to try to get rid of that. And yeah, even with this really poor space, I mean, our basic economy, 40 minerals, 0 energy, is still just floating by, which is kind of what we want. If it's not just floating by, we're of course spending too much on basic economy. And if we go negative or don't make enough, then we can't keep up with our buildings, which is also not what we want. Also, our first ascension perk will be Tech Ascendancy. The reason for Tech Ascendancy is to increase our chance of arc furnace. I think it increases it a good amount. And as I mentioned many times already, arc furnace is super important for mineral and alloy production. So we're going to, of course, make sure we try to roll that. Yeah, I think the 2 most important things is having a Spark of Genius on your counselor, spots, and taking tech ascendancy. And other than that, it's just about keeping your engineering tech tree kind of clean of things that unlock random other tier 2 techs, um, which can be a little bit difficult, but if you can do it, you will definitely be rewarded for it. And now that this colony is done, what we're going to do is we're going to build clone vats, and we're going to immediately start building mineral districts. And we're going to unemploy the colonist, as now this pop is producing unity and tech, which is of course better stats than like 4 food or whatever the frick a colonist usually makes. And we're also ready for our next tree, which will be unyielding. However, we actually don't have to take this yet, as we won't be getting deep enough into unyielding to actually utilize it before year 10. And year 10, we do want a good reserve of unity ready, because we're going to need to reform our government. And I completely forgot to move this as I've been talking so much. So yeah, please excuse the unoptimal gameplay, but hey, it happens when we're recording videos like this. Yeah, that's a bit embarrassing. I don't know how long it's been sitting there. Probably only a few months, but we also aren't ready for having enough alloys, so I guess it's alright. Yeah, we're going to need to fly this over here. Wait, what was I saying about year 10? Oh yeah, year 10, we need a unity reserve to reform our government and to make sure we elect a leader that allows us to reform our government. And I'll explain that more once we get close to that date. And improve deflectors, colony development, see, probably research out. It's just the cheapest tech there. Just get it cycled out faster. I think that's quite important. And let's define this as a mineral world, as we definitely do need more minerals right now. So as many minerals as we can get is always going to be a good thing. And Scrapper, wow, this is really, really good. What Scrapper lets us do is we can turn this into a forge capital permanently and still have like a little trickling income of alloys, which will help us build a lot of things which we do need for this build. And we're going to take Spark of Genius here again, as it's just a great trait to level up. I think each one is 3% research speed, which definitely adds up. We're at plus 28% research speed now, as you can see. Ooh, and here's Homesteader Fertility Preacher. I think I'm actually going to take Homesteader here, as getting extra jobs that produce stuff on our capital, even if it's farmers, right? As you know, like it's still good. It's extremely good early game, right? Because this will basically make it so that we don't need to worry about food for much longer than we normally would, which is definitely really, really nice. Especially since, as you can see, we have unemployment on our home planet anyway, so having more jobs of anything is basically a positive thing. And also, these jobs should get filled by immigration from our home planet pretty frequently. Sometimes it won't. But yeah, anyhow, it's all good. This has been sitting here for a while, probably. And that is a pretty late colonization for our second colony. But once again, you know, as we've been talking a lot, it should be okay. Also, one thing I completely forgot to do is start this tech. So this is going to be quite late too. So, yeah, what epigenetic triggers does is it allows us to use our Genesis Arc Civic to uplift these pre-sapients which spawn on our planets. And yeah, that's definitely a really, really nice thing. So, basically what we're going to have is we're going to have a pop assembly and biopop growth at the same time, which is going to blow up our population extremely quickly. Yeah, like basically having the dual pop growth will mean that we have just an extremely high number of pops quite early into the game. And even though everything I'm doing is delayed a little bit thanks to, you know, being preoccupied with trying to explain everything that I'm doing, I think we still should be doing pretty good here. Like 170 tech, yep, it could be better, for sure. But, you know, our mineral income is doing fine. Our tech income is only going up, and yeah, everything here is going good. I really do wish I had more resources from space, though, as these space resources are really, really bad compared to normal. I think I will even build a second science ship now, just to start scouting some of these new worlds. just to see if there's any slightly better amount of resources from space that we can get, as that would be really, really nice. Yeah, 15 days for that. And as you can see, our Unity output is also good, 75 for the first 10 years of the game. Kind of makes it so that, our Unity is not really having any problem at all. Once again, we're just making sure we have a big stockpile at year 10. As sometimes you can get really, really extremely screwed over when you have less than, say, like 3K Unity. You don't really have to stockpile as much as I have. But also, there's nothing we'd be doing with it anyway, since we're going to finish Unyielding as our second tree and not Prosperity. Which might seem a bit weird, but you'll see why very, very soon. And here, these are all kind of like text that I don't really want to take, so we'll just take this. As we don't need to focus too hard on military tech early on either. And now that we have no more kind of planetary features to remove, I think the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove one of these farming districts in exchange for a city district. And this is really helped by the fact that we have the homesteader trait on one of our leaders, right? And we're also going to skip this. It does cost some unity, but we have more than enough. And this will let us get another counselor in for scientists, which will increase our research speed even more. And we'll take favorite society, as this generically boosts resources and is one of the strongest council agendas in the game. Now, if we take a look at our tech, what are we up to? We're up to plus 38% on society, 28% on our other fields. So, that's definitely quite helpful. And now what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to resettle some pops here. So we need to enable resettlement. And we want to just move like a few pops over. And we want to enable these colonist jobs now. And yeah, here's what I mean, is we want a scientist to win who's not Mimi. Right, so we want to boost our current head of research all the way up. This was pretty cheap, right? Also, make sure after you do this, do not upgrade any leaders when they level up, as this will change the order. And yeah, basically, Mimi was our original leader, so we don't want them to win, because getting a new leader allows us to reform our government, and we want a scientist to win, as we want our counselor to be all scientists. Here, let's sell one of these. See, now that we have 11 pops on this colony, we can build the upgraded planetary administration building, and you will see why I'm doing this very, very soon. Also, upgrading your colonies to have planetary administration buildings as soon as possible is actually an extremely important thing, as this is one of the most efficient buildings for Unity production. As you can see, politicians produce 8 Unity and 3 amenities. That's just a really, really efficient job. So, and this election should be wrapping up soon. 30 days left. As you can see, Mimi has an upgrade. Do not upgrade that yet. We want to wait for the election to finish. Otherwise, it will change the order. I have been screwed over so many times by this. And there we go. Alright, we have a new leader. We're safe. We can finally go ahead and upgrade the traits we want. Also, I have completely forgotten about this, but I think I've had capacity subsidies available for a long time now. I don't know how long that's been available, guys. But I am sorry for not noticing. Anyways, now it's time to reform our government. What we're going to be taking here is we're going to be taking oligarchic. Oligarchic is a better government than democratic, basically every way, except for the fact that democratic allows you to take parliamentary system and allows you to start the game with factions and reform your government at year 10. Once we go to oligarchic, we're not really looking back, and we're going to take reanimators here. Reanimators is just one of the most hidden fun defensive civics in the game. And one of the reasons it works so well is this Master Necromancer Counselor position. We also want something here that can take an official, right? Because we want our second charismatic governor in. And here we'll just take something that can take a Minister of Defense. This way, in case we need a leader trait, specific one, we'll have more options to roll from, as we have 3 different leader types on our council. Although going all scientist is also a pretty good kind of council. And now we can build this dread encampment building. The dread encampment is extremely powerful. It creates society and physics research, and also it creates undead armies, which can protect our planets from invasions. And it produces a really, really large amount of unity with that counselor position I mentioned earlier. And our unity is going to be negative for a while until our factions reform. But yeah, we're going to see the power of the unity protection from this kind of setup quite quickly. In addition to helping our planetary defense is super, super important. Now, that planetary defense is not often used, but it does mean sometimes when people invade you, you have a long time before they can build up a large enough ground army to actually take over your planet. Which is just like a cool kind of thing to keep in mind. Now, also, we can also finally take unyielding, right, as we have done everything where we wanted to stockpile unity just in case for it. Also, I think, okay, the epigenetic triggers is not done yet. Normally, it'd be finishing up just about now. Alright, but thanks to us starting it a bit late, it's not done yet. Let's get the second dread encampment started here. That's another reason we wanted to build this planetary administration, is the dread encampment requires a planetary administration to have already been built. Therefore, when we have this ready for year 10, that's going to be really good for our early game economy. And what is this? Oh, this is like a Yankee or something. They're blocking our way to Wankworth, which is really, really frustrating. But we can probably juke around it if we really want to get there. Kind of annoying though. Kind of annoying. I'm definitely gonna try. Let's do this. I think the fleet stance needs to be set to passive, right? And then that will let us come here, and we can kind of juke around the edge and probably sneak through. Oh, we got another charismatic leader. Perfect. And we're going to take Resistance's Fugal. This will give us unity from those defense armies that Reanimators gives us, which will boost our unity output even more. Which is just a really, really nice little web of traits that work well together. Also, I believe our what's it called? Our tech is done, so this will allow us to uplift our first pops. This will both give us a really big boost in unity and give us that dual pop growth we were talking about earlier. And we don't want to take pop growth speed here. It looks really weird to ignore it, but the reason we don't want it is pop growth speed basically doesn't help us very much, because a lot of our pop growth speed is from pop assembly speed. And the other thing that makes it not very good is it unlocks a lot of tech tree spam for techs that we want to avoid on the society tree until we get more important techs such as colonial centralization, and the one that gives an extra civic slot, which I forget the name of, which are just super, super important techs that are slightly harder to get. Yeah, they're just slightly hard to get when you pollute the tech tree. Anyhow, I do think I want to build one more mineral district, and then we can start to focus on technology. And our homeworld excavation is also done here, which is really nice, so we can start to explore other systems. And once again, we're just trying to keep the tech tree for engineering. We're not going to take any difficult techs or ones that unlock annoying T2 techs. Also, for the event, always be honest, as it will reward you in the long run. Oh, as you can see, there's quite a flurry of events going on throughout the entire game, which is one of the reasons I love to play this build. Is you rarely get an opportunity to chill, which might be annoying for some players, but I think it's a super fun thing. And yeah, let's continue to expand around and just take a look. I realistically should have been using my ships to scout even more than I have been. But it is pretty difficult to keep up with that. And if you don't have something like a Gaia world or something you expand to, sticking on 3 planets until year 30 is often a really good idea. We of course have this size 23 continental. Thanks to Genesis guys, we can also colonize any planet we find, which is just a really kind of nice thing about Genesis guides, right? yeah, for this build, we don't need to prefer a specific planet. We can colonize any planet as, if we take a look at it, let me show you. Every time we get a new species for Genesis guys, obviously we've only colonized oceans so far, we get a species on it that is native to that homeworld type. So we can always get 100% habitability pop on every single planet type we find, even tomb worlds, right? Which is just something that's really, really amazing. Yeah, and let's also just try to get as much technology rolling here as possible. It's the year 13, 14 now. I know on really good runs around this state, you can be around 350 tech. And on the best runs, I've had like 700 to 800 tech by by year 20, which is just super lucky. I don't think we'll hit it here. I think we'll probably be in the 4 to 500 range, if that even, right? So, but yeah, basically we're gonna start to be building research labs on every possible planet now, which is just really, really nice. Yeah. Also, what happened to the leader here? Oh, they probably were elected as the main leader or something. So we're gonna have to re-queue this ship to kind of survey relevant systems. All right, perfect. Well, you're going to take Defensive Zeal now. We're going to work towards Fortress Doctrine. What Fortress Doctrine does, which is really good, is it halves the cost of starbases, which makes it only 100 alloys each, which is actually much, much more powerful than it sounds. If we take Blue Laser, we're going to really expand the tech tree open, but let's just take it at this point. And we get Mineral Purification. That is amazing. Oftentimes, you won't get mineral purification for like the first 15 or 20 years of the game, even like 30, 40 sometimes, which is just super annoying. But when you do get it early, it makes it really, really good for your early game minerals. And we did get it here thanks to having pretty lucky tech rolls, which is super, super nice. And let's get all our ships ready in Wankwort to colonize that as soon as possible, as that will kind of be our tech. And as you can see, we're running really low on consumer goods now. This is another scary thing about this build, is sometimes you do need to even purchase some, and you just need to keep it alive until you can start building these 2 industrial districts you get available to you from completing that Genesis arc thing. Also, we can resettle 1 of each of these pops onto each colony. Where's the other one? Is it this one? Yeah. And what this does is this allows us to grow those pops on every single planet. Right now we have this dual pop growth. Look at this, 6.3 plus 15. Like, that's a ridiculous 20 plus pop growth. Right, which is just a really, really crazy technology. And we do definitely need here to get these industrial districts up, as that is difficult to maintain now. We're minus 25. Also, we want to start this biocipher code as soon as we can, which, well, is right now. And as you can see, we're continuing to just skirt around this annoying system. I do want to take it at some point, so I'll probably build a little bit of ships that allows us to take that back, as having to skirt around that every time I need to go past is going to get really annoying. But I'm obviously not going to do it yet. I mean, look at this alloy production. It's 7. Yeah, that's obviously not very good. Not very good indeed. Also, yeah, if you want to, you can unemploy the clerics. It's a little bit worse for your energy income, and a little bit worse for amenities, but it's going to give you a little more unity and tech, which is always nice. And at this point, our unity and tech are definitely needing a little bit of help. It's a bit lacking. And just make sure we never stop building on these planets now, as build time is now one of the most expensive things we have. We definitely never want to stop building. UV laser or FTL inhibitor. I probably want to take UV laser, but FTL inhibitor is also great. We definitely do need it to play defensively. Of course, it doesn't really work without FTL inhibitor, as people can just fly straight past your stuff if they want to, or if they know how to. So we definitely need to get that soon as well. But let's just assume that, these aliens are friendly. I'd say in multiplayer, like every other person at least is quite friendly and does not attack immediately on year 30. Um, so usually you only have one or two choice points where you need to build a fortress station against some potential aggressors. And let's also just keep the districts rolling out, right? We can never really afford to stop building these districts. I do also think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move over some population and purchase some minerals and get this capital building upgrading right away. And look at this. This is bad. Our consumer goods are getting really low here. This industrial district is going to take 2 months, and this is not going to last 2 months, so we need to sell some food. And as you can see, we also don't have enough food. So, yeah, what an absolute headache of events. I mean, this is once again, like, this is why sticking on 3 planets can be very helpful sometimes. As I completely forgot to research the anomaly. As just this colony ship alone. Okay, here, let's pause. So, just this colony ship, right, cost 400 alloys. Those 400 alloys, if I didn't spend on the colony ship, would be a starbase, and 2, what's it called? Hydroponics, and another starbase. So that's 20 food per month right off of that, right? And 200 consumer goods means we wouldn't have to buy any. But I do think Wankworth is such a good planet. It is definitely worth colonizing right away. So we are, of course, going to do that. And we have made it into the positives for, what's it called? Consumer goods as well. And also, I think what we're going to do to save on consumer goods is we're going to go to our rights for our cat girls. And we're going to convert this back to social welfare. This is actually going to save quite a lot. This is probably going to go to like plus 20 or something like that. Or even more. Yeah, plus 34. Wow, yeah. So we've been spending a lot to maintain utopian abundance, which we're not really using too much anymore. As there's not very many unemployed pops. And we're also going to take clone potential here. And boom. Things are moving along nicely. Our tech is looking fine here. What is it? Close to 300 now. So definitely a bit slower than what we would have preferred. Those early game mistakes do add up. And also, while this build is just not very strong early game, in complete honesty. So that is also something to be careful of. We will need to start buying food soonish. If we're not careful, and this is what I did mention, is this build is really, really tight for food later on as well. It's tight on everything, which I just think is super entertaining, to be honest. And yeah, we can start to build some more hydroponics. This will kind of slow our food bleed a little bit, which I think is good. And let's just keep building these tech labs too. Also, planetary automation, crime. Contact them in low speech, no. Most delightful people. Awesome. Okay, we made them happy, guys. We picked the right option. I don't know if that thing's random or it's always the same. Oh, it is another one of my own empires. That's quite funny. I don't know why they're called cat girls when they're robots, okay? Like, I just like cat girls. Okay, hey. Don't hate me too much, at least. Also, yeah, we're building labs. Here, I think we don't want to touch anything yet. We do want to add more industrial soon. But we don't quite need to yet. And here, we can start to colonize Wankworth, as that is finally done. And we can send this ship off to survey everything else we need. I do want to clear this so badly, as... Okay, so are these individual machines? Yeah, these are individual machines next to us, too. So we can actually annex them at some point, which is nice. And now that we're full as potential, we should see a pretty big jump at our production for finishing like the clone army origin kind of thing. Yeah, 350. It's a nice little jump. And we should jump again, honestly, as, these labs are finishing up. Yeah, also you can see our resource production jump a little bit as well. Directive, how can we help? Perfect. This will be a really, really great planet to kind of boost up our boost up our technology a lot. So yeah, this is really nice. This should help us get mega engineering really quickly. Other great things you can hit are pre-FTL civilizations. I don't think we have any nearby, which is a bit of a shame, but that's okay. We also have this size 23 planet, which will be really nice expansion. Yeah, because having planets for building slots is just really, really important. I'm just kind of thinking, like, do I want to build up a little fleet to defeat this? Like, maybe around like year 30, especially since I don't think I have any aggressive neighbors. Like, I don't think this is a purifier, and if they are, I really got to get to this choke point quickly. Um, so yeah, with no aggressive neighbors, that will let us kind of play a little bit more chill than we normally do, and buy some food before we go bankrupt on that. Yeah, as you can see, even still, yeah, on this build, there's not a lot of like room for error. Yeah, let's start another industrial district here. No, it seems weird demolishing energy, but oh my god, I just realized we've had mining subsidies this whole time. I completely forgot. I completely forgot, guys. Oh my god, I'm so silly. That's okay. We remembered now, so now we're taking advantage of it. Yeah, as you can tell, there's just so many things to keep in mind to optimize your gameplay. If you're wondering how, that is super lucky. We got nanofabricators. Okay, that is super, super good. So, what we're going to want to do is, of course, build the mineral purifier to increase the efficiency of that. Is this building, we're going to build this crystal plant. Because getting this technology, civilian fabricators, is super, super important for making your consumer goods production more efficient. And of course, if you have more efficient consumer goods production, you can actually build alloys. Yeah, and the earlier you can get your hands on alloys, the better, of course. You can build more colonies, you can build more star bases, and you can build defenses if that's what you need. Right, getting a strong military up with this build, year 30, is very, very difficult. As normally you'd have to stop building tech around now and just start focusing entirely on minerals and on your home planet, on what's it called, alloys and consumer goods and that kind of thing. And you will be able to get a decent amount, but not an insane amount, and you'll definitely lose a lot of tech and unity for it. Which is, of course, not how we're going to be playing today, as I'm doing kind of like the single-player exploitative kind of thing where you just kind of outscale everybody by chilling and not building up too prohibitive of a military. We are playing Grand Admiral no scaling, by the way. So these are basically the hardest AIs possible, but you should see that we do outscale them pretty fast despite their insane early game buffs. And we can start to produce a good amount of alloys here too. Let's see. Okay, this we're gonna just want to continue to build out here. Boom. Also, we're gonna want to take one vision here, as this is just an extremely, extremely powerful thing we can take. And pop the favorite society, pop evolving society, and let's take a look at this. It's gonna be pretty good incomes, I'd say. So yeah, 430 tech, 40 alloys, 140 minerals. It's looking good. And of course, we're also just going to want to keep the buildings rolling out. When is this technology done? 4 months. Okay, so we can't quite build a new city district by 4 months, but it'll just be a bit late. Also, we don't have the prerequisite building for it either, so we're going to have to build that as well. Yeah, as you can see, it's super important to have a really high mineral income. If we didn't have as high of a mineral income as we did, right now we'd kind of be stuck. You know what I mean? Like, so. Super important to have a high mineral income. Now, I do want to take this system, as there's 2 of these little planets. And I do want to take 2 little planets, as we need a lot of building slots, and that's what good little planets are good for. It's like a refinery world or something where, excuse me, is where all you need is the building slots and nothing else. I will take the size 23 as well. Don't worry about it. I know it's there. This one, well, I gotta clear that stupid amiibo or whatever. I hate them. Come on, stop blocking me, man. And we're finally gonna take FTL inhibitor here as well. I know we probably won't need it, but it is good to kind of pretend that potential aggressors exist in case they do. Also, let's demolish one of these now. Start building this. Civilian fabricator, put this on the top of the priority list. And colonial centralization. This is one of the techs I was talking about. Unfortunately, we haven't gotten any tech alternatives yet, which is really slowing down our tech beelining, which kind of sucks. But it's okay. I'm sure we'll get one eventually. And wow, like when you talk as much as that, I don't normally talk this much, which is just not a lot of talking. But like now, my voice is drying out already. God, annoying. Anyhow, we want to designate this as a tech world and just start to immediately build out as much tech as possible. This was never designated as a generator world, so let's see if it was before, if our energy credits go up. And it didn't really, so okay. That probably wasn't designated as a tech world before, or as a generator world. This is correctly designated as a mining world, thankfully. And yeah, just want to keep these labs rolling out. As you can see, we actually have more jobs we have more pops than we have job slots, right? So yeah, and this planet needs a lab too. So even with plus 132 minerals, as you can see, it's like just barely enough to keep up with the 4 planets. Now, if you have a lower amount of minerals, like let's say planets have 3 mineral districts and 2 mineral districts, right? That lack of minerals will mean that do not colonize a 4th planet. You won't be able to build it. But since we did get it, well, we can. So nice. Also, I'm gonna build another. No, not a cat girl one. Let's build one with the pops that don't need clone vats to sustain themselves. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna colonize some of these worlds here, and just use them as refinery worlds, building rare resources on them to kind of save space on our main homeworlds. Oh, this is a great advisor as well. Shroud Preacher is going to be super helpful. Do I want to make them policies and I do have extra edict funds, so I think I will. And we can finish off prosperity here as well. So yeah, that should boost our unity a little bit as well. Nice. And here, we don't have enough rare crystals yet, as you can see. But is there anything I can sell? Not really. Okay. Let's instead then spend this time to build an alloy foundry. And man, yeah, we cannot quite keep up on these buildings either. So I think we might build another mineral district here. Do we distribute luxury goods? No, we don't. Up to 500 tech, just around year 20. It's pretty good pace, I would say. Standard pace, I guess. And yeah, just waiting on minerals, man. Like, it's tough. Also, unfortunately, as you can see, we have... Oh, I was just about to say. It's like, unfortunately, we haven't rolled Arc Furnace to year 20. This is usually about when you'd expect it if you're on, like, kind of a standard luck. Year 18 would be quite early if you're unlucky. You can go year 30 plus, because after a certain point, the text tree starts to widen no matter what you do, right? You just have researched so many texts that unlock new stuff that you couldn't avoid. And that becomes a bit of a problem, but luckily we did not hit that point yet. Yeah, let's probably build an extra energy district here to get our energy income a little bit healthier, as it's not great right now. Energy grid. Yeah, our minerals, man. It's just 100, like 110 minerals, something like that. Still doesn't feel like it's quite enough. And yeah, our amenities on this planet are looking quite bad, so I'm actually going to distribute luxury goods. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to uplift some species. So what are these? Xanier. I'm going to uplift these. As that planet is starting to need more pops, right? Even if they're just clerks, it just makes some amenities. It's just a good thing. And here we really want to get this building now. Ooh, these are great options here. But I think I gotta go with chemical plants, right? These are really 3 great options. I think I might actually go with labs. right? As we're playing single player, getting high alloy production is kind of slightly less important than normal. Um, right? So it's better to pick the scaling option. If this was multiplayer, you pick moats there, I think, just to make sure you have the option for tier 2 alloy foundries. And as you notice, we're just building up some alloys right now, and there's a good reason for this, and I'll show you guys in a second. And that is that as soon as our arc furnace tech is done, we're going to start to build some arc furnaces. So yeah, or arc furnace. I haven't scouted the locations for it yet. It's much easier to scout for arc furnace locations once you have them, but you can also scout for arc furnace locations before you have arc furnace if you kind of know what to look for, which, to be honest, I could not really be bothered to do. Also, I need to start upgrading these capital buildings that we're getting to 25 pops, right? That'll help with amenities a bunch at least. Okay, I'm back after a bit of a break. Let's see what we're up to. I guess just expanding our planets a little bit. Oh yeah, we're trying to buy planetary capital here. All right, start time. Get this show on the road. Let's just go ahead and buy some minerals, speed that up. Yeah, this place still needs to be expanded to this planet. Our economy is just in a bit of a struggling. Oh, I think I'm not exactly sure who cleared this system here. I feel a sneeze coming. No, I still kind of feel like I need to sneeze, but I never sneeze. So anyways, let's take statistician here, as this is extremely good for our, what's it called? Research speed, 5% research speed. As you can see, stacking the research speeds up is super important. In fact, on bioempires, one of the main advantages we can get over gestalts is we can stack research speed well over 100% by the late game, where gestalts are stuck like 40, 50, 60%. Kind of research speed territory, which means, we effectively need to produce, a third or even more or less research to get the same amount of tech actually done, which is definitely a really nice kind of benefit to playing bioempires where there's just not that many. Yeah, I think currently speaking, gestalts feel considerably stronger than most bioempires, and only the best of the best, like this clone army build or synth fertility or virtual, can really feel better than gestalts. And I get virtual, for at least, gestalts can be virtual as well. They just take a bit longer to rush it because of slightly worse unity production, which I guess is another aspect where gestalts do a little bit worse than most bioempires, is most gestalts have pretty poor unity generation. Even rogue servitors, right? You have to really invest a lot to make the same amount of unity as, like, most of the unity from this bio build, for example. You just get it for free, right? Like, if we take a look at my unity production, right, we got 150 from jobs, right? You got 68 from factions, that's free. 28 from armies, that's basically free, right? So that's a ton of unity, like almost 100 unity that we get just for existing, right? And the unity jobs we get, a lot of them are really efficient, like these necromancer jobs, or politicians, which are now producing 15 unity each, right? So that's really, really good. And anyhow, we do need to continue to expand these planets. Like, it is super difficult to keep up with mineral demand. Yeah, our mineral planet is basically maxed out, but it's got really, really poor happiness. No wonder it's not producing that much minerals. I think this capital will help quite a bit, actually. Let's see when this is done. Yeah, 44 stability and extra 0.6. That's not great, I guess, but I think we do want to build a holo theater there at some point. I think we want to do our capital building here first, though, if we can. So let's go ahead and do that. Pop growth speed. We could take this now, but yeah, let's take it. Why not? Yeah, sometimes we'd ideally want to wait for our third civic technology, but I think it's fine to take it here. Let's also try to get our Gaia world upgrading still. Can't forget about that. We also probably want to double this as an energy planet. as if you take a look at our current energy planet, it's just kind of lacking districts. Let's take a look at some of our other planets too to see if any of those can be our energy planet. This planet here is pretty good, I guess. 9 energy districts. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, not quite 9. What's over here? Oh, this is a great secondary mineral planet. What I will do for this entire playthrough is I'm not going to take any vassals. And the reason being is taking vassals I think is a relatively unrealistic way to scale production. Anyhow, also I forgot I shouldn't want to start building arc furnaces, right? So let's first get one building around our home planet. As you can see, 20 arc furnace mineral deposit sites. And let's scout for a second system with 20. So here's one with 20. Sometimes you're not so lucky to find a single one with 20. You got to go with, like 15 or 16 sometimes. But below 15, I usually wouldn't go with at all. It's just not that worth it. Unless you're desperate, you can go for like 13 or something. Yeah, as you can see, this is the only 20 nearby, so we're definitely going to start to work towards that. Let's get a couple construction ships ready. Yeah, it's all looking good. And also just, keep our planets expanding. As you can see, we're really kind of struggling to keep up with it now. But this will get better once our arc furnaces are done, right? So that's the whole purpose, I guess. Also, how close are we to... I think one thing I want to start doing now is I want to just uplift every single one of these pops just for the unity. It should be pretty helpful, I guess. So also, here's a little tech. Is you can clear blockers when a planet is colonizing sometimes. Sometimes it's useful. It's more useful in relic worlds where you want to clear the collapsed spire. I think we'll take Star Old here. And yeah, just keep the upgrade train rolling. And we want to start this right away, as we don't want to get our two sides cut off. That would be really annoying. So we want to try and get that before our, I guess, ally gets that, which, should be pretty good. Get Scrapper too here, I guess. That's always nice. Extra couple alloy jobs. Does make me feel like I think I want to stack up some consumer goods right now, because right now we have the consumer goods upgrade building, but not the alloy one, so it's better to produce consumer goods for now. I think we even want a third one, as we want to start expanding this way as well. This is kind of where, now that we have alloys, it's time to start expanding. Our neighbors are friendly, or at least, pretty friendly. Like non-aggression pact, we can guarantee the friendliness, right? We don't have to, they won't attack us anyway. But if they accept, it's a good way to build some extra trust. Which means we're free to fully scale here, basically. Now, let's just say this was an aggressive enemy. What I would do is I'd build up this starbase. Right, it's really cheap thanks to our upgrades. Build up this one anyway. We'd build, turn it into a star fortress. Right, and that'd probably be like 5 or 6k defense just like that by, filling up with gun batteries, and we could build defensive platforms. I'll show you guys the designs I like to go for. So let's pause it just so that we don't pass too much time. Is you want to go to ship designer, defense platform, and basically this is the design we want to go with. Just one laser. It's really simple. It's really easy to get these techs too, right? You should go either 4 to 1 to 2 or 5 to 1, and then you would call this laser. And then save that. And then for the second one, we want to actually go with medium station, and we want to go with double coil gun. Same kind of layout here. And call this coil. Right, just to kind of keep track of what it's doing. And for every 3 to 4 lasers, you want 1 coil gun platform, and that's kind of one of the most effective ways to do defense. I'm sure there's other good designs. That's the one I like to go for. It's quite effective against most builds, which is why I like it. So, oh, this is a great modifier too. Look at that, research speed 10% for 10 years. That's gonna really help us a lot. That's awesome. And yeah, look at how many pops we have on these planets now. Let's see how this planet is doing. Yeah, we're building research labs on it. Very nice. And let's uplift this as well. I don't know what planet these guys are on. Yellow. Is it this planet? Not actually sure which planet those people are on. Is it this one? Oh, it's here, I think. Yeah. Yarrow Reacher. It's gonna make this planet be a little bit too crowded, but that's okay. We'll get that sorted in no time at all. And we can also start to just like look to colonize some of these planets. And as you can see also, our arc furnace is done. We have 18 extra mineral deposits in the system. And as we upgrade it, this is going to go up all the way up to like 200. So as you can imagine, that's just like an incredible boost to your basic resource economy, having that degree of extra minerals. And it even starts to produce alloy at tier 3 out of 4. So yeah, really nice. Chemical plants here is a bit of a no-brainer. Continue to focus on some research labs, and also I do think I want to colonize this planet next to start building up our long-term energy planet. This is just a good planet in general, but I don't think I'll dedicate it to anything specifically yet. Mind over matter. Keep in mind that our population late game will kind of become too limited, unless we go steal populations from our neighbors, which, you know, there's a neighbor here, there's a neighbor here. We might do that, but I also do want to show you guys how to scale without having to do conquest or subjugation or anything like that, because that's a kind of more realistic multiplayer experience. And of course, since we don't have to defend, we don't have to, you know, build up our starbase too much here. Let's just pretend somebody aggressive here anyway. You know, we'd probably build, you know, gun batteries and that kind of thing, but I'm not going to build that quite yet. But I will upgrade the platform because that could come in use anyway. Also, right, we'd switch our planet back to Empire Capital. In a pinch, we'd even switch it to military economy, but we really don't want to because it's super hard to sustain consumer goods like that. And we don't want to make that too difficult. Also, as soon as this evolving society is done, we're going to start the psionic research option, as we do want to get into psionics as soon as possible. And here we're going to do this. Ooh, nice little commercial pack. This one is going to help us quite a bit, so let's just accept it. That's going to increase our mining station output, as very soon that's going to be a primary source of a lot of our resources. Also, this planet, as I mentioned before, I do plan for this to be our kind of rare resource planet, as it's just a small planet with low district counts. Could also make it food in addition, right? Because at some point we will need additional food. And yeah, as you can also tell, our solo mineral planet here is now really, really struggling to keep up with demand. Yeah, it's just not enough amenities either, which is a bit of a problem. Let's move a few pops over, right? And they'll work as clerks, bring the amenities up. That should help a little bit. I also do want to get rid of these clerks, right? So at some point, we're going to need to build a holo theater on here. Let's see what resource do I need. I don't have gases yet, so we probably should build gases here first, or moats. But we don't have anything to build with moats yet, so we don't have tier 2 alloy foundry yet, so, or even tier 1 for that matter. Ooh, it's another ocean world. Let's see if there's anything good here. No pre-FTLs. But yeah, expanding out here is now definitely a good thing. Also, when we can afford it. Oh, there's an anomaly on that planet. Annoying. Let's go research that anomaly. Yeah, I guess we'll colonize this one first. No worries there. Oh, that should help. Oh, and here's a tough one. There's mineral output, mega forges, but I think you can't go wrong with mega forges. So I'll go ahead and take that. Sorry, just getting a bit of a drink of water. I just realized I never built a dread encampment on this planet as well, which has been probably denting our Unity output just a little bit, but it's okay. And here we get psionic theory, right? So this is really nice, as this will allow us to take the psionic tech tree. And as you can see, this empire is really starting to come along good. And the fact we rolled it without having to do the agenda is super nice. And I think we will finish the tech before we can finish the agenda, so we can just do a completely different agenda. Here we do impenetrable border. We're gonna do it anyway. But like if we're planning to get defend against a year 30 invasion, right? We'd start to build this up. Of course, we, you know, build gun batteries. We have only a little bit of alloys, but this can get up to 10k quite easily with just a few platforms, like 3 or 4k of alloy of platforms. And of course, you can upgrade that depending on how much you think the enemies are a threat. Given that I don't have any, I'm not going to build a big defensive platform. And yeah, in a lot of multiplayer games, even, especially if you have, I guess, a good reputation for not being an aggressive player, or that kind of thing, right? Is a lot of people will let you scale for free next to you. You know what I mean? Like they don't want to attack you. You don't want to attack them. And it's just generally like a mutually beneficial thing, right? To be peaceful. So a lot of times you will get to scale. Now, if you play like a Montu tournament kind of lobby, a lot of those players do get kind of aggressive, right? As there's now money on the line and that kind of thing. So this playstyle is less viable. As if you have to build 3 platforms at once, you can imagine how that's basically just not possible. Like you definitely won't be able to be colonizing planets and that kind of thing. Right, as colonizing planets just too greedy when you have to defend yourself and that kind of thing. Anyhow, since we don't, we can play as greedy as we like, basically. So as soon as this is done, we're going to start the next upgrade. Which one of these blocks a generator district? Let's get rid of that. Increase consumer good output. That's really good. Then we got 4 workers on here, so definitely want to build something for them to do. 11.4 minerals here too, which is a really nice amount. Let's go ahead and build a holo theater for them as well, so that, you know, we don't have to keep working these clerk jobs and having like negative amenities and that kind of thing. Okay, if I want a second mineral world, which one should it be? Let's see. I think it's this one, right? If we need a second mineral world, yeah, this one has a lot of districts, but has nothing special about it. So, also Wankwort, as you can see, we're running out of space. We're just continuing to build this up as fast as we can, despite it not being very fast. And yeah, that extra mineral district helped so much. Look at that, 182 minerals now. That should kind of stop our mineral deficit. And we're kind of just waiting on this exotic gas refinery now. And as you can also see, we're kind of running out of consumer goods. So what we're going to have to do now is we have to start upgrading our own planet. We need some more consumer good districts, because that's a bleed rate that is definitely not sustainable in the long term. Definitely need to build a few more starports as well. Just get our food input. As you can see, we're only at 5 out of 10, right? So we can use these alloys to go up to like 10 out of 10. And there we go. There's Galactic Administration, which gets us that 3rd civic slot, which is super important. That should also help with our consumer goods just a little bit. And we can start to just colonize every single planet we can. Let's colonize this. Yeah, this will make our empire size sprawl out quite a bit, but it's worth it, right? Also, we're biological now, basically, right? As we don't have robots, we're fanatic spiritualist. And I think I'll quickly tab this back over to factory capital. Oh, I forgot to get this upgraded. Okay, this is helpful as well. What we can do is just delete these arcs. I think it's worth it. Because this upgrade will allow our arc furnace to start producing alloy, which is, of course, extremely, extremely nice. And yeah, definitely have not focused enough on these industrial districts here. And I definitely need moats now as well, so let's get some moat factory going. Let's get, you know, research labs, keep the research labs coming. This needs an upgrade as well. Our We're not working. Yeah, we're not working the. I really hate this. Just prioritize. Stop prioritizing colonist jobs. Nobody likes colonist jobs. Yeah, we need to build more industrial. We need to build a lot of everything. Looks like. Yeah, this needs another generator district. Yeah, that planet is not a great electricity planet. Let's see if we have a third arc furnace site yet. 18, perfect. Okay, so this, you can go research that. And that will give us our third arc furnace location. At some point, we do need to build the one that produces energy as well. Otherwise, our energy income is going to become really unpleasant. So hopefully we can get that soon as well. But for now, of course, just keep expanding where we can. Unlocking plasma. As you can see, we're just flying through text now. I mean, we don't even have to share our commercial packs and research packs with the AI if we don't want to. And I'm not going to because, right, it can only harm us in the sense that it makes them stronger. Doesn't help me that much. I think in multiplayer, you should have the exact opposite mindset, by the way. That if anyone sends you a pack, like, unless you're directly planning to attack them or they're a known enemy to you or something like that, just take the friendlier option. People, like, the best thing you can do in multiplayer Stellaris is not learn to the meta better, it's to learn to make friends better, and I'm not joking. Right, like, the effectiveness of the two is just not comparable. Like, having the entire lobby trying to eliminate you versus having half the lobby trying to help you is a really, really different feeling. And I'm definitely on the side of trying to get people to be friendlier. Although it's a little bit boring, in a sense, where if everybody was too friendly, right? So there's definitely a balance to be struck there. Let's keep the industrial districts coming. I do want to get this upgrade going, but I can't quite afford it yet, so we'll just expand this. I don't think I want to expand any more mineral districts. As these arc furnaces upgrade, we're only going to decrease the amount of minerals we're going to be producing via jobs. Definitely won't be increasing that anymore. So, anyways, we need to get this as well. This is another benefit of adaptability, by the way, is the strategic resource cost is reduced by a significant amount. Actually, it's definitely enough to really change the way things feel and how expensive they are. So 500 days until this is done. We can start getting both these arc furnaces going. Right? This, of course, we need more space, but can't afford to build it. Need to start upgrading the tech on our here tech world as well. And finally, we get another research alternative that will be absolutely huge for our tech's progress. And I also think we've probably had Psionic for a while, but I just forgot to take it because that tech probably finished off a while ago. So yeah, we've definitely had Psionic available for a while. So a bit silly of me to not have built it yet. And the main benefit of Psionic is, of course, how efficient your pops get. Also, here we're going to just take meritocracy. It's a pretty standard third civic that just generally helps our production efficiency a bit. And let's go ahead and bring our leaders back. We're also going to take principal instructor, as it's just a great counselor position that, yeah, it's definitely worth having. And we are going to go with the patented, or pending, I guess, 5. Yes, count them, 5. I mean, this one's not a scientist, but it could be a scientist, right? So, it's like the all-scientist counselor, which can be really, really effective, right? As if we take a look at our tech speed, it's plus 63% now. It's just only going up and up and up. Great options here. We're going to go with economy because we're not under war threat right now. Not really looking to militarize either. Here, we just need to upgrade that, but definitely need to get this building upgrade. Bought. We're just missing a little bit. Yeah, right now it seems that minerals are my big bottleneck still, which is a bit surprising. But as soon as these arc furnace tiers are starting to finish off, I think the problem should solve itself. Though we're gonna run out of energy credits, so gotta be careful about that. Yeah, these energy credits are already borderline, so as soon as these arc furnaces start finishing, that's gonna be extremely bad. Um, yeah, I guess let's colonize this as soon as possible. Um, yeah, it just gives us another area to build more energy districts on, besides, Wankort, which I really want to save this planet for mostly technology, so. Yep, and we're starting to build Psycorps now. I think the AI is actually building the Psycorps from our planetary automation, because I think it's just naturally ticked on, yeah, which is actually a nice thing, because we actually do want to build the Psycorps on basically every planet where it's available, no matter what, so. That's actually really nice of it to start it for us. It's probably one place my minerals have been going where I haven't been noticing. It's like, oh, where have my minerals been going? As you can see, we're 830 tech at year 31. Our kind of goal is to get to about 3K by year 60. That's also, like, if you plan to play a little bit slower, it's fine to make less tech and more alloys. It's probably more fun for most people. But I really like getting to late game tech. It's fun, so. So, of course, our goal will be to rush tech as hard as possible, basically. Oh yeah, this is going to be a great upgrade, too. I don't even have, like, tier 1 alloy yet, but consumer goods is negative, right? So we definitely need to fix that before it gets too bad. And how is this? 50 days, so close. Although my energy credits are not looking forward to. I think I'll start saving up some energy credits, to be honest. Also, we still don't have enough food production. What the hell? Let's build some of these on every system. Okay, this is done 150. What's it called? Noise. Okay, we don't have quite enough alloys to start the next tier yet, but once again, like, as a bioempire, it's really hard to get the arc furnaces up, like, kind of as soon as possible. What should I use this planet for? This planet is like a big freaking planet. You know what? It's kind of underwhelming thing to do with a planet, but we'll just build food on this planet. Right, we're not taking vassals, so we'll have to produce our own food. So, why not just use a relatively large planet for that job? Yeah. It's actually more efficient, by the way, to do upgraded buildings than it is to do a city district upgrade, city district upgrade, city district upgrade. But it's just annoying to do that, as you do need a second planet just to build a whole bunch of rare resources on it. We don't have any good rare resource upgrades yet, right? So, anyhow, let's just make sure we're taking over all our new planets. Also, here we have the Great Awakening. This is actually a pretty important tradition milestone, right? Because as soon as you get this tradition milestone, we need to go into our species. We need to set the default rights to assimilation. And this will turn our non-psionic species into psionic species. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to start assimilating these pops into psionics. This will dent your economy a little bit, because some resource somewhere that, was being produced by that pop is now going to be, just an unoccupied job, right? As you can see, we lost some random jobs here or there across all our planets, but in the long run, it is worth it. Especially, like, it's good to get these done under peacetime, because as soon as you're not under peacetime, it can be really, really annoying to try to. It can be really annoying to, like, lose critical resources from lost jobs during wartime efforts. So, anyhow, let's start our next arc furnace upgrade as well, and just get the show on the road. Also, I desperately need more energy soon, as as soon as this arc furnace upgrade is done, my current energy supply is just not going to cut it. I don't know if I have Dyson Swarm unlocked yet. I don't think I do, which is like the energy equivalent of the arc furnace. No, I don't. So I definitely need to research that, as this, 4-tile energy planet is just not going to hold up very much longer. In fact, it's just not going to hold up any longer at all, isn't it? So our minerals are still terrible, 140. Huh. And our Right, right. Just take a hit because we lost some jobs. One thing I would say is, if you can, the best strategy for this is to not do everything at once, but is to slowly stagger it. As your economy might not be able to eat a total like a hit of all non-main species pops being assimilated at once. But I often find that if I ever do that, I just forget to assimilate most of the species, so I like to do most of them at once. Um, but yeah, it's a bit of a trade-off there. If you can remember, it's definitely better to stagger them. So yeah, this world is just a dedicated agricultural world. We don't have to worry about food much anymore, which is nice. Of course, you know, if you're taking vassals or stuff, you'll never have to make a food world, as the vassals will just sustain your food. No problem at all. Of course, we couldn't take a vassal right now if we wanted it. We just don't have enough production, but very soon. Very soon, things are going to change. You know, this is starting to colonize, which is nice. I do need some energy to bridge myself over. Oh, Shroud Teachers. What can I sell here? Let's sell some consumer goods. Don't really want to sell alloys for that. Forget. What do you want me to send us? Teacher, 2,300. We wish to learn. And we get the best governor in the game that I know of. This thing can eventually get Shroud Preacher as a trait, which is already something that this guy has, but this guy's better on the council. So we'll start using this guy as our governor. Very, very nice indeed. Oh, yeah, we don't have enough energy, eh? Okay, we need some emergency energy source, I think. Wancourt, you have been chosen. You are now on an emergency energy planet. Yeah, I don't think we can get away with... I mean, in fairness, at some point, we'll just need a lot of energy planets, as energy is really hard to come by in this game, to be honest. Like, at least when you don't have a large quantity of trade builds in the game. If there's a lot of trade builds, you get a lot of commercial packs, and then energy is like the freest resource. But in a standard game, energy is actually quite valuable, so... Also, as soon as we take this, remember to breach the shroud. I often forget, and it gets delayed a long time, and it's super annoying. Also, sometimes I don't know why you need to like click again for the jobs to like re-job. I don't know why. It's really annoying. But yeah. Anyhow, as you can see, now that those jobs are being worked again, this production is really, really good. And we can get some more generator districts just to hold us out until we can get our permanent generator world up and running. Colonize. Let's colonize all the planets we haven't colonized already. Oh, not what? Did I click? I think I clicked on Cat Girl, so I have to undo that. Yeah, in case I forget. I think I clicked on Cat Girls on both, actually. Screw it. It's only been like a couple months. Let's just delete that first ship as well, and make sure we don't click Cat Girls. As if we do click Cat Girls, you know, the planet might despawn if we're not paying attention. Which is definitely not something we want. Or decolonize, not despawn. And also... time to start more arc furnaces. And we can even start another arc furnace over here. And let's just set this guy on automatic to build up all our little spots. So you need to be a hollow theater, and then upgrade this. I think here we just upgrade that. Yeah, this is going to be our long-term secondary main energy planet. As you can see, our jobs are now back, and our production is now back. Almost 1,000 tech before year 35. I don't think we'll make it to 1,000, but it would definitely be possible with some more optimizations. And we're starting to discover more people, too. I'm not too worried about trading comms with everybody to discover the entire world quickly. as it just won't affect what I'm trying to do too much. And I'm just kind of like clicking text without too much thought now. Um, I do still need to upgrade my home planet's, what's it called? Alloy building, as I haven't done that at all yet. Let's go ahead and start upgrading the alloy building. Get this alloy efficiency up a bit, as right now it's really bad. Let's take a look. 5.2 alloys, 18.8 consumer goods. Yeah, we are in consumer good economy after all, but still. Impenetrable border around year 35, which is exactly what we're looking for, right, in case we're getting invaded. Let's take a look at this for an example. It's only 3k. Well, I mean, there's nothing on it, right? It's naked, but you can imagine how that could be quite strong with the unyielding bonus. And impenetrable border, but you know, we're making 700 tech and 900, or 700 unity and 955 tech at year 35. So if we're not getting invaded, we are going to scale like crazy from here on out. Yeah, I definitely just have a bit of an overemphasis on tech, I will say. If I made more alloys and played more aggressively, it'd probably be better in the long term, but hey, I have fun doing this, so. Anyways, here, let's get Hollow Theater, as this planet is starting to look a little bit depressed. Here, I don't really need more agriculture, so I'll just let those Unity jobs fill up. Yeah, anyhow, how's this mining world doing? Could use another research lab. Finish this off, and also wait for that to finish. One thing we want to watch out for is if we ever get, basically we want the ability to start an arcology project. Alright, an arcology project requires Tier 2 anti-gravity engineering technology. And we did research the Tier 1, so we're just waiting for Tier 2 now. But we don't have it yet, obviously, so we're going to have to wait. And as you can see, we're now got 2 extra arc furnaces as well, so we can start upgrading those. We're going to really have to prepare for the energy hit for when those finish. Let's take a look at our minerals now. Like, we're getting 206 from stations, like 180 just from one system here. 100 alloys. Arc furnaces, man, just incredibly, incredibly good. I'd be making so little alloys without the arc furnace. But thanks to the arc furnace, we're making a good amount, right? So we'll continue with that for sure. And yeah, continue expanding here as well. This will be, of course, a secondary energy planet. So let's actually start with the energy grid here, just so we don't forget. Asteroid impacts. Oh, shoot, I forgot about that. I completely forgot about that. Luckily, it didn't seem to kill anybody, so we're good. Take advanced that as well. Also, a little black hole here, which will be nice to make a matter decompressor later. Very, very nice. Almost 1,000 tech now. Just super, super nice. Yeah, I guess we just need to keep all these planets like upgrading. Make sure we're not working any more clerks anymore, as this is definitely the stage of the game where we should have holo theaters instead of clerks. You know, that overpopulation from the beginning, from being clone army, is, you know, basically it should be about war now. So, as it is. Right, we can get these energy grids up. We do need some extra energy to reach into the shroud, so I'm just going to quickly solve some alloys. Try to commune with it. There we go. And also, species here, we're going to uplift these new species. That should be for our desert planet, right? So it'll help us, you know, get our energy back up and running. I think we'll just take this as, you know, I don't know where it is. I think it's here. Yeah, 2 gas. That's actually a considerable amount, so. I don't really like any of these, but I guess we'll take Cartographer, because we will terraform all our planets at some point into Gaia worlds. Super, super nice for biopops, of course. And just get these research labs going up as well. let's go ahead and replace this with one last industrial district as well. Of course, we're still waiting on the moats. We definitely need a lot more moats for that. What are we making? +3. I guess we'll buy it with energy when we get the chance. Let's make sure we don't go bankrupt there. Yeah, but now we're starting to make a excess of alloys, right? So this is kind of the stage of the game where I'm going to start to upgrade some star bases, of course, and we're going to start to look to make a military fleet kind of as soon as we want to, basically. Of course, in the real game, you'd be using this to dominate people and that kind of thing, but for me, I'm just going to chill, mostly. I'm going to build a fleet just to say I have a fleet, basically. Of course, as soon as my energy credits decide to, not be running out, which might be a while actually, but especially since we're going to start with a very, very low pop count on this planet, so. And we get Dyson Swarm, finally. That's going to help a lot. And we get anti-gravity engineering. Ooh, and we have a hostile alien somewhere. I wasn't paying attention to which one it was, to be honest. Oh. That is a purifier, it looks like. So, good thing we're trying to militarize now. As, yeah, this definitely looks like a bit of a purifier. So, let's do some fleet management. Now, what is the absolute best fleet we can make? In single player, it is definitely going to be disruptors. However, I am not going to be using disruptors because they are too good. They're so good, in fact, that in my opinion, they kind of lower the enjoyment of the game for me a little bit, because like the AI stand no chance against disruptors. Also, they're annoying because they cause them to disengage, and that can be annoying. So we're gonna go with kind of what's a standard good kind of fleet design that you would probably use in multiplayer, where disruptors are banned. If disruptors aren't banned, use disruptors. Disruptors are only really countered by fleet hardening, which is not something you're going to find too much of this early into the game, except for really experienced players or that kind of thing. Yeah. Anyhow, let's start to get some of those rolling. Generator. Yeah, finally making a little bit of positive energy credits, which is good. Let's keep all these planets upgrading now that we have some spare minerals, although we need to build up 20,000 minerals, which is quite a lot. Right, as I do want to get that arcology started, which means we'll probably be in the late 40s to start, which is a bit sad. Ideally, you want to start at about year 45. I mean, ideally you'd start as early as now, but where the hell are you going to find 20,000 minerals this early into the game? You need to play extremely well to do that, and I'm not saying that's impossible, because I've seen it. Alright, I've seen a player start Nekiminopolis a bit about now, with much more difficult tech settings than I'm using. So, I'm using 0.75 Unity and technology cost, by the way, which is kind of like I would call it like the multiplayer gold standard. It's definitely the most common setting you'll see in multiplayer games, so I definitely don't think what I'm doing now is something that is like cheating by making it easier than default. Almost everybody plays with something similar to these settings, so anyhow, I think we can start Supremacy Tree, right? As we definitely want to militarize as soon as possible now. So yeah, let's take military techs. And I'm definitely not probably going to be strong enough to fight a snowballed purifier, as no, what have they done to my poor guys? Oh, look at that. It's just gone. Everything's gone. Yeah, let's definitely get more moats as well. Damn, we can't afford it. Ooh, this is a tough one. I think we'll go with let's go with metallurgist output. I'd still rather have more. Fanatic purifiers. Not too excited to see that, but hopefully they don't attack us like straight away, giving us a bit of a moment to build up some fleets, I hope. If not, that could be a little bit of trouble, but Ooh, another ocean world back here. Let's definitely keep the surveys going, as that will be really, really nice. Yeah, and once again, we just don't quite have enough energy credits. So what I could do is I could set a consistent mineral sell now, but I don't want to sell minerals. Okay, you know what? It feels bad, but I'll probably just move some pops over to this planet. I know they're working at like terrible efficiency since they're not natives, right? They're gonna have terrible what's it called? Terrible habitability. But I just need to get some more pops on this planet, as this is, you know, want to concentrate my what's it called? I actually really should have just built the second energy plant as Wanker. It's only got one less energy district, but I just wanted to focus on, you know, technology over here. And let's continue to build up more exotic gas refineries here as well. We'll definitely need those. More techno. I know it looks like I should be building more alloys, that I'm in the face of like a purifier, but I am really greedy, right? So because I'm really, really greedy, I'm just going to continue to build arc furnaces and that kind of thing. I know that they typically don't attack you instantly, like purifiers, right? So you have some time. You have some time to work with. And what is above me here? Some Evangelion Zealots, but they seem pretty peaceful right now, so that's good. And we've got a Fleet Academy here. Let's get a Fleet Academy here. And let's also keep this reinforced. Do want to build that up as fast as possible now. Right, our alloy production, right, cannot scale much. This planet is basically completely maxed out. Like, you have this alloy nano upgrade plant and that kind of thing, right? So not too many upgrades left to go. But what we can do is that can eventually become an Ecumenopolis. Right, I think, by the way, we can indeed take the Ecumenopolis tech now. Right, so we just need 20,000 minerals, which we're making plus 300 now. We've got 2 arc furnaces coming online in the next 3 or 4 years. So we should not actually struggle too much with that. 4K, let's build a spy network. I actually have no idea how strong a purifier year 3040 fleet would be. If they've been snowballing, it's probably over 20K. So hopefully they haven't been snowballing. That's the real conclusion there, is if they've been snowballing, that's definitely going to be a problem. But you know, we'll just keep our upgrades going and hope. Let's see what's going on over here. Definitely still need some more pops, I guess. The growth rate is slow, so let's move over some pops that aren't doing too important stuff, even though it's gonna just completely tank the amenities. Oof. Yeah, let's just move some over. Where's my agri world? I definitely don't need so many agri pops. There we go. And positive amenities. Upgrade that. That'll let us build the tier 2. And look at that. We're just making +6. We're just like just barely holding on. I really wish I was making a little bit, just a little bit more energy, eh? Like, yeah, all these arc furnaces are going to start burning energy like it's nothing too, as soon as those are done. So, yeah, hopefully some of our Dyson swarms start finishing too. Where's our Dyson swarm? There's one being built over there. Yeah, those will help a bit too, so hopefully it balances out. Also, screw it. Let's just sell, like, some food. Sell some of these, and that should give us a bit of energy buffer in case, you know, we go negative for a bit. There's some good options here. Subspace navigation is always nice in case you find, like, Helito or something. Noise. If you know, you know. That's a very, very interesting tech. I might share it for another day, which is why you want subspace navigation for Helito. as you can take it without jump drives, basically. Which is just like a cool technology that I think is kind of not well known for sure. I don't really know what to do with this planet either. This will probably be a refinery world, slash mineral world. So we'll just build refinery on it at first. Where's refinery world? And let's go ahead and get the species and uplift them. As you can see, our species list is getting really spammed. And this is one of the reasons why you got to remember to assimilate all the pops when you can, as it's going to get really annoying to sort through this list in a second. Why do I have two non-psionic base species pops? That's really weird. Oh, and we get Star Fortress already. Well, that's really, really nice. And we're making negative, like, 100 energy. Why? Okay, we're... That's annoying. That's annoying indeed. And we got 2 pops left. These jobs too. Oh. Okay, move some on over. We got high pops on this planet. Oh god. Build a city district. That should clear the high pops modifier. Oof, and we don't have enough energy credits. Is our arc Dyson Swarm done yet? Yeah, it is. 32. That barely does anything right now with our negative 100, but yeah, it's like the same as like 1.5 pops right now, right? That's not great, but eventually you can upgrade it to be the same as like 5 or 6 pops, which is really nice. Where's our last Dyson Swarm? I know there's one somewhere. I know we built 3. We built 3, right? Nope, not this system. Maybe here? Nope. Maybe we didn't build 3. Maybe we built 2. I know 1 is in our home world. Okay, let's use this screen. Oh. Oh, we're upgrading to. Where do I see the list of all of them? I don't actually know. I know there's a way to like look at all of them, but I don't actually remember where it is. I don't use that menu too much. Reach into the shroud. Oh, can't afford it. We'll do it later. We'll form a covenant a little bit later, guys. Let me just quickly evaluate what's going on for a second. I have been yapping a lot, so I'm a bit trying to catch up to that. Oh yeah, there was another Dyson Swarm site here. I just never started it, so let's go ahead and start it now, because that will definitely be a nice thing to have, and it's also make enough to reach into the shroud here. I definitely want to. Oh, this usually means they're gonna die, so I just wasted my money there. Also, did I ever do? Of course, I never did the second tech. I always forget. This planet, once again, don't know what to do with it. So we're just gonna uplift the pops and move them off, probably. Pops. Uplift. Also, how's Winkwort doing? Could use some more pops still, so let's go ahead and get some more jobs upgrading. Noise. How's this planet doing? Energy Nexus, almost done there. And yeah, I think we could definitely build some more fleets. Yeah, they still have overwhelming fleets to us, so we definitely need some more there. As I mean, once they take this system is when you have to watch out. They rarely declare war on you from range. And, oh, of course, I ran out of energy. And yeah, what I mean by that is they rarely declare war on you when they're not like already adjacent to your border, ready to go. So we still have a bit of time. Yeah, let's just focus in on some more energy, man. Definitely some more energy. Yeah, having this planet only have like 4 energy districts or whatever, it's definitely a little bit unlucky, but hey, it happens like that sometimes. It's not a big deal. We've reached positive energy now, but it won't be for long. Yeah, definitely need those Dyson Swarms to start, pulling in their weight. But we are making $300 now, thanks to our plentiful arc furnaces, which is really, really nice. Maybe next time. Do we need a third energy planet? That might literally be it, right? Like, okay. Okay, Wankwort. The nice thing about Wankwort is we can just relocate pops to it. Like, we don't have to, um, make sure the right habitability or that kind of thing. So that's definitely a good upside. Here, let's see. What do we need? Motes, good. Rare crystals, good. There's not really much demand for more rare crystals ever. Unless you're doing robots, in which case you need a lot. But for bio, you need a lot of motes and you need a lot of gas. So we're going to build a lot of motes and a lot of gas. Psionic supremacy, that's going to help a lot. Military buildup will probably help a lot here too. Decreasing our energy load a little bit. Yep, there we go. Get everything upgrading. Now, as you've noticed, or at least may have noticed, our tech rate has slowed down a lot, like the rate at which we're increasing our tech and that kind of thing. And the main reason for that is, Composer. Awesome. Love Composer. It's one of my favorites. Anyhow, what was I saying? Yeah. One of the reasons is, now that our clone army pops are done growing, our pop growth has slowed a lot, right? Our pop growth basically only scales with the number of worlds we have, right? And why is there so many fleets moving this way? They're cordial with me, so they're not going to attack me, I don't think. They might just be here to defeat res aliens. These amoeba. I hope so, at least. And we should probably take a Ripper autocannon at this point. It's a pretty good weapon, so. Anyways, let's continue to just keep upgrading our technology now. As that will definitely be quite helpful. Let's also move some of these pops over to Wankwort, as we don't need so much food. Right, and just prioritize this energy grid. And screw it. Let's turn this into a tech world, or not a tech world, a whole ass energy world. Yeah, it's clear that energy is definitely going to be our largest problem here. Yeah, we can work these 2 culture worker jobs, and then for everyone else, we're just going to move them on over to Wankwort, right, as 100% habitability, and they can go hopefully work and some technician jobs and make some more energy for us. And as you can see, we're also getting pretty close to 20k minerals now, which is super nice. Also, gonna need a new set of cruisers, so let's go ahead and start that as well. Let's see, they're still overwhelming. They probably have a pretty big army. Hopefully they're busy somewhere else, right? Because they're usually in war with like everybody at the same time. So yeah, hopefully they don't come for us yet. Not quite ready yet. Right, and yeah, once again, like the tech and the unity of this build is extremely fast, right? But the alloyization, or the speed at which you can militarize, is limited. Right, you will never be able to fully militarize too quickly compared to other builds, which is why I would say, at least, especially in single player or multiplayer, it's quite defensive build. And of course, I don't have enough resource silos. Okay, let's go ahead and spend some of these. Yeah, spend some of those minerals while my ally silo is building. Oh well. That's just quite funny, to be honest. Anyhow. No worries there, no worries there. And yeah, they're only superior to us now, so clearly our shipbuilding is actually doing something, which means they're probably around 20k, which is also not too bad. Yeah, it's not too bad at all. As long as they're not like 40k or something like that, that would be a bit too crazy, a bit too much, but I don't think they are, so nice. Yeah, there's still high pops on this planet. I guess this planet is really blocked. Oh yeah, that is really bad. for blockers. Oh god, what's happening to our consumer goods? But when did I do that? Oh my god. What I meant to do is I meant to just turn this planet to a factory capital, and I somehow switched to militarized economy, which is like the farthest possible thing I could do from that, which is just so frustrating. Uh, as I'm gonna need to run with a militarized. Do I have a save? I'm gonna save scum this, guys. Sorry. Um, fully transparently, I just misclicked. Yeah, I'm just so bad at talking and playing at the same time, guys. Sorry about this. But like, I'm not gonna pay a 10-year penalty for that, right? So, yeah, what I meant to do is just go on factory capital and stay on civilian economy. But at some point, I just must have brain fart clicked that, like when I was thinking of, oh, I need more consumer goods. Let's, for some reason, switch that over. Ah, man. That was one of the reasons I don't record on Iron Man mode, I guess. As I'm just a bit too silly for Iron Man mode, so. And let's also get this energy nexus upgrading. Yes, I think it'd be super good to have more energy. More minerals, that's always nice. And yeah, let's continue to rush towards this end game. Yeah, as you can see, consumer goods, the difference between the previous economy and the new one is a lot. It's over 100, about 100 more consumer goods, which is a big tax to pay for a single misclick. Which is why I do wish that the stupid thing where you're not allowed to swap every 10 years, if they just reduce that a little bit to like 2 years, because it is super, super punishing to make a mistake involving any policy that lasts for 10 whole years. I think the game is kind of designed to be played slower than what meta players try to play it as, right? So it gets really bad when you make simple mistakes like that. Anyhow, we are also, yeah, one thing I forgot to mention is we do have Clone Army Admirals. If you take a look at the bonus, we get 35% fire rate, 20% range. This is extremely, extremely powerful. Right, so I would always recommend to make sure you get a Clone Army Admiral on every single one of your ships. It just makes them so, so strong. You probably don't have to upgrade this right here now. What I will also do is let's also find a place to build a second, what's it called? Resource silo. At some point, I'm going to have to upgrade all these. Let's do it now. This is probably my least favorite part of the game, but it's the starhold problem, you know? Age-old problem where you just need to build a starhold on like every single system, and it takes forever. Need those anchorages, right? Need that naval capacity. This is the best source of like mid-game naval capacity, right? So it is basically mandatory to at some point in every playthrough go click on all your star bases and upgrade all of them. But no, the reason why adaptability is great, saving us alloys the entire time, or not adaptability, unyielding. I mean, one of the most hidden powerful things. Also, take a look at this. Take a look at any planet. We got like 1,000 armies on it, right? So anybody not prepared to invade us is gonna really struggle to get through those ground armies. And that's just on every single planet where we have 10 pops, right? We can go ahead and build the Reanimator building and just get that free 1,000. And they're also tougher. If you invade that with a normal 1,000 armies, it's not going to win because we're going to get undead armies on the way. Like, when you kill an army, it's going to become an undead army. And just, like, it makes it effectively quite a bit stronger than the number it says there. Which is just something to keep in mind and that some people forget and kind of get burned by. And we're almost there. Almost there, almost at 1,000, or almost at 20,000 minerals. Once we get there, basically what we're going to do is, well, of course, I don't want habitats. Actually, I have nothing to do with my influence. Let's take habitats. Let's take habitats. Yeah, habitats are great when you have nothing to do with your influence. If you have stuff to do with your influence, I mean, it's kind of more efficient to go claim planets with pops than it is to like build habitats and then grow pops on those habitats, unless you're playing a really, really, really long-term game, right? So, since we're not doing that, we're not gonna worry about that. Start this arcology project. Let's go. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna deprioritize our minor jobs as we don't need so many of them, and we're gonna start upgrading all these buildings to get all these workers out of mineral jobs. And I hate it when this happens. It's just 4 of them decide to be specialists and lowering our mineral output for no reason at all. So, thanks game for having weird quirks like that, where if you forget, you just get burned by it, and you can't undo it. 4 pops just sitting here being unemployed. Oh well. Mm, nothing you can do about it. And as you can see how fast we're flying through text now too. Not quite at 2K. We only have 13 years to get to 2K, but once the arc furnace is done is when, or not the arc furnace. What am I talking about? Once you start your arcology project is when you can really start to focus on tech, as you can defocus on minerals, right? Let's also finish up that. Hyper shields, why not? I think these 2 arc furnaces are done. So now it's just these Dyson swarms that we gotta do. Channel the energies into an avatar. I always like the avatar, okay? If you get the avatar, don't put it into a fight. Just use it to power project. It's actually good for that, so. And here, a lot of options. Okay, well, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show what I do in a normal game, which is we're gonna wait until we can do Gaia terraforming, and we're just waiting for the technology. Usually we'll roll the technology before. Usually we'll roll the technology before we roll the next, all the way next to the next tradition tree, because tradition trees just take a really long time. So yeah, as long as we finish that first, we should be fine. We are lacking a bit of unity for these things. I mean, we're making 1K unity. It's one of the reasons why I think it's super, super important to not forget about unity, is that you don't get through tradition trees like this if you don't have unity. And you actually need it to get into the late game, is to finish the tradition trees, right? As we need, ascension theory, and we need to be able to start ascending our planets to, get the true late game efficiency. And we can't do that with poor unity production, right? So having a mid game unity production, like this is mid game, about 2050, right? Of over 1,000 is super, super important for making sure you don't fall off and not really be able to get to late game on time. And if you're wondering where all the unity comes from, it's just from the fact that we have all these culture workers in every planet. We have, the old interaction between, armies and these, what's it called? Dread encampment buildings. Super, super efficient. And yeah, let's populate these dread encampments. Make sure every single one is spawning armies and getting as much value as we can. One useful thing also for habitats is that I forgot to mention is, right, I said I don't like habitats. That's true, but habitats can also, you can just fill them up with fortresses. It's one of the most useful things you can do late game to increase your naval cap, especially when you need thousands of naval cap. That's probably one of the best things you can do. And I'm back after a bit of a break. I took a look at the recording length. It's already been 2 hours, so I think I will continue this recording up until we finish our arcology project. We will probably call it a build, as you will have at that point have seen a really, really good idea on the main objectives of this build, to scale up, and of course how to get to the late game of Stellaris as quickly as possible. Of course, it's not as fast as the likes of synthetic fertility or some of the more broken builds like virtual out there, but we're still making extremely, extremely good time. yeah, really, really awesome to kind of like know that clone army, at the end of the day, can still really be a really really effective build. Of course, there's probably tons of players who can play this better, or in a more militarized way. I would say one thing I could definitely do to improve is some games where you might expect to, you know, uh, run into more military conflict. It's probably advisable to swap instead of reanimators, to swap into catalytic reprocessing and just begin to develop an alloy economy as soon as possible and make your third planet into a food world. It's especially good if you hit early food subsidy technology and that kind of thing. But yeah, overall, right, is you can still have a really effective game scaling this way. It just does leave you a little bit vulnerable in the early game. Um, if there are highly skilled, highly aggressive players near you, it will be very difficult to survive against like a just stop player rushing military. I mean, at this point in the game, I would expect a military rushing just stop player to have 50 to 70k at least, um, if not a little bit more. Of course, the tech and Unity and all that stuff would not be as good, but what does that matter when you're making a 400 $500 per month and just popping out ships like it's nothing, right? Um, Anyhow, of course, I'm not too interested in that kind of play style right now. At least, unless if there is a bio build which can do something similar without sacrificing too much on technology and Unity, of course I'd be interested in it, right? But at the end of the day, this is kind of the way I've learned to enjoy the game the most. So yeah. Anyhow, we're still making a ton and a ton of what's it called, minerals, as you can see. So yeah, we're gonna, as quickly as we can, try to transition that over to other aspects of our economy, as we really don't need the minerals anymore. I will also say that we are slightly running out of food here, so let's move a few of these clerks over to be farmers here, as we do kind of need more of that. Um, let's see. Oh, head of research. Looks like we need a new one. Military buildup. All good. Everything is good. Nice, nice. Yeah, like, oh, is that Helito? Huh. Speaking of Helito, it's really close to us. Earlier I was mentioning if we wanted to take that over. Um, Probably save that for another video. Probably make a video specifically on how to take over Helito, as it is definitely pretty interesting. So that will be good to see. I'm also not very good at it. I need to figure out the exact mechanics on how to make it, like how to defeat its military craft and that kind of thing. Not something I've perfected for sure. And here's climate restoration, which is definitely something I wanted to get within this episode. As this is one of my favorite techs, as it lets you turn everything into a, what's it called, a Gaia world, which is super super nice. Also, the couple guaranteed systems around the home world of Sol can be turned from barren worlds into Gaia worlds, which is extremely extremely convenient. And yeah, as you can see, right, like our economy is great. Look at these arc furnaces, right? 143 minerals, 90 alloys, 85 alloys, 147 minerals, right? And that's just from space. It's basically for free. And let's also not forget to upgrade our Dyson swarms here, as a little bit of free energy never hurt nobody. Right, where's my... Yeah, there's another one somewhere I need to upgrade. There we go, we got it upgrading though, so that's all nice. And we can expand the council one more time. Always click expand the council when you can. It's good to have more council members. Also, our tech is quite weak this game, I will say. Well, it's not quite weak, but it's not particularly strong for having Wankwort. Um, Wankwort being a huge boon to tech. I honestly should be doing better, but hey, you can't always um, get everything you want, so I guess that's the thing. Also, do we ever unlock orbital rings? I do kind of like this new menu. It looks quite a bit nicer than the old one. And we did get orbital rings. So I kind of forgot about that. So let's go ahead and build those before we forget. As it's always good to build your orbital rings as early as you get them. Right, these boost resource output and planet capacity by a really considerable amount. So, yeah, definitely always good to have orbital rings whenever they're available. Um, yeah, and also the other good thing about orbital rings is these are actually free star bases that don't count towards your starbase cap. Right, as an orbital ring costs influence, right, but it does not cost your starbase capacity. So technically, you can build as many of them as you have planets, just technically almost infinite, right? Of course, you'll run out of planets eventually, but that's basically an infinitely scaling source of starbase capacity, or at least a way to get a bunch of them for free, which is just a nice little bonus to keep in mind. Also, if we turn this into a empire capital, what happens to our consumer goods? I doubt it's good. Minus 111, that's not too bad. Also, as you can see, I'm upgrading the capital designation. We can see we're getting plus 26 resource percent from jobs now, which is really, really nice. And we get a composer of the sanctum as well, which is something else additionally really nice. So let's go ahead and place one of those. And in addition, let's actually slide this up past archaeology project, as that's going to boost the efficiency of this planet quite a lot. Also, let's get a ministry of production. Also, let's queue up all these industrial districts. This way, when the archaeology project is finished, we'll get some really cheap ecology districts. As it won't update the cost, it'll just still be in the build queue, and those will turn into industrial districts, which is really nice. Or like, I think they'll turn into forge districts, which is just super cheap way to get those, of course. Let's also not forget to continuously build up on every single one of our planets. We really want to keep the ball rolling here. Reach into the shroud, increase unity, plus 30% monthly unity is huge. Let's take a look at this. This is going to cause us to really zoom through the society tree if we want, which is awesome. Also, take a look at this. We got our first barren world. We can start turning these into Gaia worlds, although it is a little bit expensive. So let's go ahead and take World Shaper here. It's kind of the last step to the Giga scaling build, right? Which is this way we can turn all our worlds into Gaia worlds, which is they're just perfect worlds, right? Like nothing to improve from off that. And it's kind of like the last major step we have to scaling. Once we have the Ecumenopolis, the Gaia worlds, the orbital rings, we've kind of reached the scaling milestones of everything. We're making 363 alloys before we have an archaeology project, and before we have an orbital ring around our planet, which is just really nice to see. And yeah, our military is not huge. That's for sure, right? But it's still pretty good. And it's probably bigger than this purifier now. It's still not. Wow, that purifier is really good. Yeah, they have eaten a lot of stuff though. So yeah, we should definitely be careful about that because we don't want to get surprised by that too much. And yeah, I also will say we are still struggling on energy credits just a little bit. Yeah, the Vassalless gameplay can be a little bit like this, and we just got our Dyson Swarms so late that they're not quite done yet. Which is a bit of a drag. I think if we had had them a little bit earlier, it would definitely look a lot better than this. But that's okay, right? Like you can't always have everything exactly perfect, and getting not Dyson Swarms, but what's it called? Arc furnaces when we did was, I'd say, at least decently lucky. It was definitely not unlucky to get them as early as we did with only 3 technology rolls. Although we did satisfy all the other major conditions that can increase the roll weight, right? So, anyhow, let's just continue to expand here. We have finally hit that 2K tech. I think we were a little bit past it already in 2, which is really nice. And we should be able to upgrade these orbital rings right away, which is also really nice since we have Citadel technology already, I think. Or do we? Let's take a look. Oh, we've had orbital rings for a long time. I just kind of forgot. It was Star Fortress. Yeah, okay. So nice. Anyways, we should be getting that soon. Also with the Sanctum Composer down, let's take a look at our efficiencies. 12 alloys, 25 consumer goods. It's going to get better than that. Just you wait and see. Yeah, for now, let's just finish off this Wankwort. Also, get these last couple of buildings upgraded. What I will also do is I'll move a couple extra clerics over. I'll move, not technicians, because of course we always need more technicians somehow. And just always need more energy. Always need more energy. How are our Dyson swarms coming along? They're getting close. This one still needs one more upgrade, but this one's almost done. Right, and that should definitely help our energy credits just a little bit. Keep it balanced, right? Oh, thank you for a gift. Okay, nice. Yeah, if we take a look at this now, as you can see, across most of our planets, the biggest restriction is starting to become pops, right? So, if we were trying to scale as fast as possible, ideally we'd find the nearest, biological empire. We'd go ahead and claim some of their. This guy is so strong, by the way. Militarist, yeah, these AIs are definitely, they're good. GA, no scaling. If you don't cheese them early or something, yeah, they're definitely doing pretty well. Normally you would have outskilled them by now, but this one might have been an advanced star or something, right? Because this AI is looking quite strong. Like, yeah, they're still equivalent to me. I think most of them won't be, or apparently most of them are. So yeah, apparently I'm just not as strong as I think. Okay, quite funny, yeah. Also, I think I'm probably still an isolationist, so my yeah, my what's it called is still terrible. It's just Galcom weight, diplomatic weight. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, every time I record for too long, my brain just kind of fries. Forget how to speak. Already not great at speaking, and then you compound me getting more derpy as the day goes on. Yeah, definitely pretty interesting. Anyhow, that's not too much of a worry there. Let's just keep on going. I really want to get the 3K tag before year 60, but it looks like we just won't make it. Yeah, keeping the basic resource economy alive at the same time as trying to skill up is definitely proving to be a little bit difficult. Yeah, being this late in the game and still only making positive 45 energy credits is a bit embarrassing. But yeah, we are struggling just a bit here. We're also still making a really, really large amount of tech for year 55 at the end of the day. Our ecology is also almost done, which is really, really nice. Let's upgrade these. This doesn't really need an upgrade yet, but we'll upgrade it anyway. Let's also go ahead and make sure that these cruisers are running something a little bit better. Do we really have tier 1 plasma still? Okay, let's just switch these to lasers. Right, because I definitely prefer high tier lasers to low tier plasma. Let's go ahead and save this and do a little bit of an upgrade. Yeah, that will probably increase our fleet power quite a bit. Just updating the weapons and stuff. Always annoying to try to keep up with that. Ooh. Exploit Zero, Why not? Looks like these purifiers are getting invaded too. We're finally starting to pull ahead in tech to some of the Grand Admiral AIs, but we're still not ahead on military to most of them, which is pretty impressive for them. Infinus only have 40k at year 56, so maybe it's not that impressive. I'm just bad at militarizing. Bad at militarizing for sure. Yeah, 337 alloys is definitely quite a bit at this point. I mean, not amazing. I'm sure it's possible to have much more, but whilst also having 2k tech and 1.3k unity production, not too likely. Also, this is about the point in the game where if I had gone synth, I would be starting to outscale my non-synth self. As you know, when you go synth, you have think uh, about 14 to 15 pop assembly on every planet if you play it optimally. Um, yeah, there's just no real way of outscaling that. You're basically hard limited by build speed and planet size. Everything just fills up instantly, right? This is the part of the game where if we don't do any conquest, right, we'll definitely fall behind. Let's see, they're assembling cat girls, and they have a good number of biological. Oh no, they're mostly still. Mm. I'm looking for like the largest planets that are like in claim range for me, just to see like how many pops they have. So, or I could try to steal some arc furnaces. Right? Because the limiting factor here is like claims. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to claim enough pops nearby. Influence limiting, basically. I think we'll build the consumer good building first, to be honest, as we don't really have enough of that. So still need more energy credits as normal. I got battleships. Oh, we could hit mega engineering year 60. That would be amazing. So I hope that happens. I think also now would be the time where I would start to build a ground army. Guess I want to invade anybody. It's always good to have a ground army available, and I think we can't go wrong with psionic armies, as psionic armies are incredibly strong compared to most other army types. You're just having such individually strong units, like super powerful. Oh no, why'd I move them there? Let's move them to a Wankwort, where they'll have 100% habitability. Oh, and our Ecumenopolis is finally done. I don't think I'm going to stop here, right, as we haven't rolled Mega Engineering yet, which is, you know, one of the last pillars of a scaling build, which I want to do. Why do we have... Oh, that's annoying. And we're making negative 360 consumer goods, so let's prioritize consumer good jobs. Let's also deprioritize farmers. I don't know why we're working farmer jobs here. Let's see, what are we now? Negative 2. Yeah, that's quite a bit better. What tech do I need? Rare crystal short. These are problems which could be mitigated by me paying almost any amount of attention, but of course we're not doing that. Ah, screw it. Let's just buy 2. I'm too lazy to fix this. I'm sure we have an open refinery world somewhere. Yeah, we do. Okay, let's turn this into a crystal plant. There we go. Nice, and as you can see, we're now running low on minerals, which is surprising. So we're going to need to let our mineral planet build up a little bit as well. But yeah, once again, this is also just a result of having done no conquest with a psionic build. You can kind of see the big weakness with it now. Which is, of course, you know, pops. Why are we only making 1 point something K pops? Is it because of the rare crystal shortage? Yeah, it probably is. Research from jobs minus 5 per... Wait, that's not so bad. Why? Oh, it's because these jobs are not being worked. Yeah, these are the most efficient ones. So yeah, that was actually the difference. That's quite funny. You're definitely not going to make 3k tech here, yeah. Yeah, I guess to get to 3k tech on year 60, you need a pretty high roll seed, or more importantly, you probably need pre-FTLs. Which is definitely one of the ways to bypass needing a large pop volume if you have pre-FTLs, like just 30 of them, you know what I mean? Like you can have a similar pop count to what we have now with less planets as well. Yeah, or of course you could go synth and have like infinite pops, but then you have ugly synth pops. So I really wish that there was a better balance between pop growth and pop efficiency for builds that don't go synthetic, as the trade-off seems a little bit harsh. Um, in the sense that if you go anything except synthetic, your pop count just falls off a cliff compared to synthetic, um, which just makes synthetic ascension just so far and above the best ascension right now. Um, and like yeah, you go psionic and you're a little bit stronger in like the mid game, right? But the synthetic will just come right back and overtake you before that advantage can amount to anything. That's kind of how I feel about it right now, at least. Anyhow, oh, my entire this is like the biggest purifier I've ever seen. Holy, like, wow. Good job, purifier, for becoming the biggest purifier I have ever seen. You know what? I kind of want another set of ships, but I don't have the military space right now, so I need to build some more of that. Build some more naval capacity. Come on. I didn't know they could have decimals for trade values now. That seems new. Investor, reformer. Yeah, it's got to be reformer here. Just get that unity rolling. What do I need now? Statecraft, harmony. Probably harmony. I didn't realize I was that far through. I would have started putting points into that earlier. Oh my god. Anyhow, also, what we can do is we can actually have enough energy now, probably. Let's build an orbital ring around that as well. You can never go wrong. Orbital ring. And we can upgrade this one to be a mineral one. Even though we probably have like one worker. Yeah, he's making 19 minerals though. He's doing a good job. I guess she, since we're cat girls. Ooh, little Freudian slip there. Ooh, got myself though. And as you can see, these are just fantastically efficient now. 31, 13. This is on civilian economy, by the way. So yeah, imagine. Let's finally go to militarized economy. I think we can definitely do that now. Oh, power outage. Oh. I know this takes like 3 seconds to fix, but it's still annoying. By 3 seconds, I mean still a bit too long. By the way, I do not know the best option for this. Okay, let's feed it some energy and go bankrupt in the meantime. Let's see what happens. This is quite funny. Favorite society. Yeah, why not? Oh, we can finally add a Minister of Defense as well. Okay, with negative 60% energy, we're gonna have a bit of trouble having energy, though. That's for sure. Kaleidoscope's mood will determine the final outcome. I hate this event. I'd rather just not have it. Like, I don't know what it does, but I already know I'd rather not have it, I think. I don't know. So how long does this assimilation take? Man. I could just look it up and see what to do. But, what's the fun in that? Yes, it's interesting, right? Because for me, I played a lot of games with Stellaris, but I haven't played that many to endgame, right? Because most multiplayer lobbies around this time start to become depopulated or that kind of thing, right? Which makes me lose interest as well. Which means I never really got used to actually playing the late game. So this summon a psionic avatar. Let's go. Did it work? Oh, it actually worked. That rarely happens. Okay, not bad. It's good for power projection. Kind of tempted to declare war. Screw it. I think it's time. Oh my god, that's a lot of unity. That's 300 influence. No, that's definitely not worth it. Let's be this kind of guy. Claiming only planets. There we go. I'm not bothered to check the population, though. I really should. And now we're also going to take galactic force projection. This will increase our naval cap to a good amount, so that we don't really have to worry about that probably for the rest of the game. And as you can imagine, now we're basically free to do almost anything we want, right? We have good alloy outcome, good whatever, Yeah, just waiting for that mega engineering. Anyways, I am getting a bit tired, so I think I'll call it here. But as you can imagine from this situation here, we can go ahead and we're finally superior to our neighbors and all that. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.